So, I've been gone for a while. Truth is, I haven't been too interested in working on Speculation Brothers. I've been pretty content with how Smash Ultimate has been shaping up since E3, and I'm not that curious on who else could be added. Most of the characters I do still want to see, I've already talked about. Spec Bros has honestly become more of a chore, and I've decided to retire the series. I still want to make videos, but Spec Bros has just been holding me back because I don't want to work on it, but feel like I just have to, and can't work on the videos I do still want to make and end up doing nothing. I will be making one last video that just goes over every character I've talked about and give my updated opinions on their chances. With that out of the way, let's talk about the recent Direct, and the number one thing I have to talk about is my number one, my boy, my single most wanted character in Smash. The first console I ever had was a Super Nintendo package with Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 were a huge part of my childhood, and I've wanted to see K. Rool playable in Smash as far back as Melee. Everything about him, his reveal, his moveset, it's all just so right, and I couldn't be happier with the roster now. And yet, we've still got more characters to be revealed and more to talk about in just this video. Simon Belmont is back to finally complete the Captain N reunion. Now we just need King Hippo to be playable to really bring it on home. Anyway, I'm happy they went with heavy metal beefcake Conan the Barbarian Simon and not Light Yagami's Gimp Suit Simon. He just looks like an HD render of the 8 and 16-bit sprites of days gone by. But if you do want a more Bishonen vampire hunter, we also have Richter representing the more Symphony of the Night Metroidvania side of Castlevania. This is also an Echo Fighter of a third-party character, so Shadow, Jean, and my personal pick, Ken Masters, all have a very strong shot. Speaking of Echoes, Chrom has finally been made a real boy, and Dark Samus is now the fourth Metroid character in Smash. It's weird that Metroid is suddenly going from being so underrepresented in Smash to making up a solid chunk of the roster. Another interesting thing with Chrom is that he is a combination of Roy and Ike, so Echo Fighters aren't just full recycles of a single moveset. At this point, I'm convinced that Echo Fighter is nothing more than a buzzword they came up with to just make everyone stop complaining about how many clones Smash has. Give them credit, it worked. People are actually excited to see more and more clones now, no matter how quickly or cheaply they're made. Fine by me, I've always had a mindset of the more the merrier. To close out the Echo topic, they added an option to fold Echoes into their base character on the character select screen. I know a lot of people wanted that, I never did, but now everyone gets to pick what they want and everybody wins. Going from playable characters to assist characters, Zero is an assist trophy. Mega Man X, much like Donkey Kong Country, was another of my childhood favorites, so I'm glad to have Zero represented in Smash. I know a lot of people are upset because they wanted him to be playable, but the way I've started thinking about it is that assists are kind of like the NXT developmental division. You start thinking about it that way, it's not like the characters have been left behind, they're just working their way up to the main roster. Hey, we've seen 3 assists now get promoted to full characters, so anything can happen in the future. On that note, we've got Shovel Knight as an assist trophy. It was always a long shot to have an indie character make the roster, but even just an assist trophy is pretty huge. Shovel Knight really is just the guy now who shows up in everything. He is like the Kevin Bacon of video games. Now, if he's an assist trophy, I can't see someone like Shantae or Sans making the roster instead. But hey, DLC is inevitable and anything is possible. Next, let's talk stages. There's only a handful of brand new ones just because they focused hard on getting as many old stages back as possible. Honestly, stages are just as important to Smash as the characters, and having this amount of stages returning is a good call in my opinion. They don't have every single stage, which is certainly understandable. Any of the older stages have to be remade from scratch, and they can only make so many. There are probably also technical reasons getting in the way of certain stages. Pac Maze seems like a no-brainer to include, just for how iconic it is, but it was heavily designed around each player having their own screen and would need a complete overhaul to its gimmick to work on the Switch. The exclusion that stands out the most to me is actually Woolly World. It's already in HD, built for 8 players, and there's a sequel coming soonish, but I guess there might have been a bug in that stage specifically with the new stage morph feature that they just couldn't iron out in time. I kinda hope Woolly World could be released as free DLC post-launch. I'm willing to pay extra for just about any other stage, but I feel like that one should have been part of the base package. Speaking of stage morphing, that might actually be the biggest surprise of the entire Direct. All of the characters and modes they revealed were ones that people have been wanting to see, but I can't think of anyone throwing around the idea of stages tagging in other stages like this. One other thing I want to bring up with stages is that this really seems to be all of them for the base game. The way they were talking about having 103 stages seems very conclusive. Some have been pointing at the 6 blank spaces that are still left as evidence for more, but there's actually no real need to make things symmetrical. You remember those 2 empty spaces in Melee and how everyone thought that there just had to be 2 more super secret characters that no one could unlock? Yeah, we're done here. Another important thing to note with this being all of the stages is that it might mean we won't see any more new characters from new IPs. If a new franchise were to get added to the lineup, they would probably have a home stage to go with them. So I think the remaining newcomers will either be from franchises already represented, or will be from a series that isn't known for its locations and wouldn't need a stage. For example, I'm still holding out hope for Heihachi because Tekken doesn't really have any iconic locations that would need to be made into a stage or that you could even look at and think of as a specifically Tekken stage. Rhythm Heaven could also have a chance because Rhythm Heaven just sort of takes place in this colorful void. Other than that, I think the remaining newcomers will be additional reps from series that we've already seen on the roster. Maybe they'll let it slide for first-party franchises, but I think we can rule out most third parties at this point. Don't really have anything to say about the new items they revealed. The only thing I can really point out is that we haven't seen all of them yet. The official page for items on the website doesn't have the lipstick listed yet, and there is an official screenshot with that item in it. There's still more to come, and I think we'll have one more Smash dedicated Direct in October or November that'll make showing off the full item list one of its major points. Last big thing to talk about is the new modes. We finally have stock stamina matches, we have squad battles for both 1v1 and teams, we have an endurance mode that has you and your opponent going through the entire roster, and we have a training mode that isn't absolute garbage. There's just so many ways to play this game, and all of these new modes make very smart use of the core game. Whether you're competitive or casual, all of these new modes are going to be worth pouring a lot of time into. Just in the state Smash Ultimate is in now, it's already a must-have title, and the fact that we still have more to see is honestly ridiculous. So, what could the future still hold? I think we'll have a variety direct in the next couple months that'll just include one character reveal and then one last dedicated Smash Direct in late November to blow out everything that they have left. All of the remaining characters, all the remaining items, how the online will work, mini-games like home run contests, collectible trophies, and the main event, that mysterious green mode. We know it's going to be called Spirits because Noctilescent was able to de-censor the footage. Relax was saying that he thinks it's going to be something similar to the Great Cave Offensive in Kirby Superstar, and that it'll function as the campaign mode for the game, and I second that. I think it's going to be something of a roguelite maze that you explore and fight enemies in, having platforming segments based on the various games represented, and in that maze you'll find fights against playable characters and special bosses, and you'll be rewarded with unlockables the further you get. I don't think we're going to get a proper storyline. That's a whole other discussion I'm saving for another video. Anyway, that's going to do it for talking about the Smash Direct. As I said, my next video will be a reevaluation of all the characters I've talked about on Speculation Brothers, and we'll just see where we go from there. Thanks for watching, and remember to hype responsibly.